Welcome back to the Gweilo 60 channel. The store shelves in the United States are emptying out as we speak. They're becoming bare. And why is this? Well, the tariffs, of course, that Donald Trump has put on the Chinese imports into the country.
Yes, sirree. I'm not freaking blind, guys. It's Gweilo style. I think it's Thursday.
You could die.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Geez, you know? Oh, yeah, because it goes on and on and on. For all you haters, there's something to chew on for the next couple.
Up to 245%. And, it's not just the store shelves. It's not just the small business owners that rely on exports or imports, as if you're an American, to the United States so that they can sell those wares in their little stores and stuff. But it gets bigger than that. The port chief of Los Angeles Port said that they're basically at a standstill. They're going to have to start laying off people. The truckers that move those imports from China that aren't coming in anymore. Like China's basically just said, no, we're not going to deal with this, and we're not going to do trade talks. But see, the truckers, their jobs are gone. So the port workers and the truckers and the small businesses, the Walmarts and Targets and Home Depots of the world that have very deep pockets have said, well, we'll pay those tariffs, ship our stuff, we'll take care of it, we'll charge the American people more. Amazon was going to put a little note in on each product telling you, the American consumer, how much Trump's tariffs are adding to the cost of your product. And Trump got a wind of this, and he called up Jeff Bezos and give him shit, and then Jeff backed down, so they're not going to do that. See, the political rhetoric that's coming out of the United States, the ball's in their court. Oh, China will call. Now, do you know that the United States just today called up all levels of the United States government, called up their Chinese counterpart, and so it wasn't China that had to call, it was the United States that had to call. So, the anxiety runs deep in the United States, where in China they said, well, take the tariffs off, and then we'll get into trade talks with you. It's one of those things. So, but the Chinese said they'll fight to the end on this one, and they will. And then, because China is not going to just lay down and roll over, they put 125% tariffs on all American goods. So, and I think that's fair. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to hit China with tariffs from 145 to 245%. Well, 125% retaliation from China is basically not a bad thing. But it means that 737 Boeing jet will cost, instead of costing $124 million, would cost closer to $300 million. So China was scheduled to take 50 this year. They had 3 already over in China, and China returned them. And what was Trump's reaction? Oh, China reneged on a deal that they had with Boeing. No, it's not that I put a bunch of tariffs on China. China reciprocated, and that sort of trashed out Boeing and the sale of, well, what's 50 times 124? Just over $6.2 billion of trade. Bang, out the window right there on that. Then you get soybean. What is it? $18 billion worth of soybeans that are no longer being sold to China from the United States. They went to Brazil for that. Over $1 billion worth of 18.2 billion, I think it was, on the soybean. But over $1 billion on pork products alone. So just those 3 little things there, you've got over $20 billion worth of lost trade that the United States has lost. And the farmers are seeing it. They know that they're walking full steam into recession in the United States because of this trade war they have with China. And Trump says, "Oh yeah, we're in negotiations." And China comes out and says, no, we haven't had any talks with the United States on this because, for one thing, you have to respect us. Another thing, you have to take the tariffs off that you put on that were unwarranted, and then maybe we'll talk to you. And the anxiety in the United States, you can tell it. They're always saying things that aren't true, like Trump with, oh yeah, we're always in negotiations with China over the trade war and stuff that we're having, the tariffs and such. But it's not true. And then you get the Chinese coming out saying, yeah, no, we haven't had any trade talks. And if the Chinese were in trade talks with the United States, they would simply say, yeah, well, we're in trade talks, and either it's going good or it's going bad. But everybody knows that Trump is not the most truthful person in the world. Don't get me wrong, better than Kamala Harris, though, mind you. But when that's all you got to pick from, oh man, that's slim pickings, guys. That's slim pickings. Another thing that you have to understand is, you know, go back into 2023. China was the largest trading partner for over 60 countries. So it's not like China needs the United States because they trade so much with the United States that if the United States doesn't buy our stuff, we're screwed, glued, and tattooed. It's not like that because they have over 60 countries, and that's in 2023. So I would imagine it's a lot higher now. So they don't need the United States. And the United States, if they don't want empty shelves, they don't want lost jobs, they don't want political unrest, they don't want all of these things happening in their country. I think they better backpedal on this tariff idea really, really quickly, because right now it takes 20 to 30 days to get a ship into the United States. That's not counting you're ordering, you're bringing it to the port onto the ship to the United States, taking it off out of the port onto trucks and to its delivery spot. You know, so it can take up to a couple of months to get that stuff from one point to another. So now, even if they made a deal right today, you know, the beginning of May, be June, July, before anything would start trickling in, those shelves are going to be empty. If this keeps up for another couple of months, there will be no presents for the children at Christmas time, I tell you, because those shelves will be empty. And anything out there that is for sale in the shops will be sky high. Inflation out the yang, all because of Trump's tariffs against China. Why would you pick on somebody that has a bigger economy than you? Why would you pick on somebody that has manufacturing, 1.4 billion consumers? There's so many things. Don't get me wrong. It's going to hurt the Chinese economy. It's going to cost Chinese people jobs. It's going to cost not as much as the United States, but it's going to cost China also. So nobody wins in a trade war. Tariffs are just not very smart, and it's all Trump's fault, and the American people voted for it. So it's the American people's fault for voting for Trump. But then again, Kamala Harris, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you guys are in a rough spot just for the fact that there was nobody there to represent you that had your best interests at heart. And now you're seeing that the growth of the United States is being revised downward for the next year. They said the growth is going to be at 2.8%, and they downgraded that to 1.7% growth in the United States. So that's quite considerable. That's just about halving the growth in the growth of GDP in the United States over the next year, where China is still sitting around 5%. I think they were looking at 5.4. They might have been downgraded to about 5% now. So you can see it does have an impact on both countries, but it's going to have more of an impact on the United States. The United States doesn't make their own stuff anymore. China does. The idea that one country has lots of stuff. They can fill their store shelves. They can feed their people. They can do all of the things that they have to do for their people. The country has been around for over 5,000 years. They've lived without the United States in the past, and they'll live without the United States in the future. Trump is trying to build a new world order. And he is. He's building a new world order, but he's doing it by isolating the United States, and the United States will not be part of that new world order. And that's just the way it is. Wrong policies can ruin a country. Attacking a country that is stronger than you, not only financially, not only in the manufacturing, or the tech too. The Chinese just built a battery, a nuclear battery that will last 50 years without recharging. Oh, another thing, space travel. You gotta love the ingenuity of the Chinese people. How do you fight against this? The ingenuity of the Chinese people. They've made an engine that puts out 100 kilowatts. A plasma engine, and the plasma is everywhere. There's three forms of energy right now in the world, and that's liquid, solid, and gas. And now they've got plasma, the fourth. And a plasma engine that it doesn't have that big thrust. But if you're doing space travel, just like Star Trek, guys, it's like, but they've built this engine, and it's not concept, it's in reality, and they've tested it and stuff like that. So how do you compete against people that are so ingenious? They've had hard times in the past. They'll have hard times in the near future. But in the long run, because of their manufacturing, their engineering, their perseverance, the way that they deal with other countries, their trade policies, all of the things that the United States should have been doing, like building their infrastructure instead of engaging in wars around the world, 13 wars for $14.2 billion. That $14.2 billion could have been better used building roads, high-speed train, you name it. But they didn't do that. Now they're in a trade war with China, and China's going to eat their lunch, in Biden's words. And that, my friends, is another video from Gweilo 60 on the shores of the Samar Sea, actually. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, you know the score. Peace out. Bye now.